So, welcome guys. This shiur is dedicated first of all to the birth of the new baby for the family of the Yeshiva, Eden Davidov, the daughter of our dear member Yonatan and his dear wife Leah. So may HaKadosh Baruch Hu help them raise her to become a Bat Yisrael Kshora, Kshera, Veneima, Veteora, וירבו נחת ממנה, משאר יוצא חלציהם, and also לרפואה שלמה of שחף בת לילך. Let's hope she's going to be okay. So we are at the coming towards the end of, today we are half, but coming towards the end of the month of Elul, which is really the last moments of the year. And there is a great question that comes ahead of us. What is exactly this time? I mean, what do we do with this time? What is this time? Is this just a technical end of the year, of 1 year, and then beginning of the other year? Or there is maybe something that we're missing, maybe something spiritual that we're missing that is very unique, maybe like a secret window that through it we could actually look at ourselves and in the way look at the whole entire reality as well. Chodesh Elul, according to the Kabbalah, is considered to be almost like a city of refuge in time. Okay, a place that the soul can escape to from all its confusions and all its wrongdoings, and during this time, the soul finds refuge in that place in time, which is the month of Elul. The Ari says that Elul is the time of Yud Gimel Midot Rachamim, who lighten the world, the certain attributes of mercy that shine on the world. And in a way, it's like open gates. Those windows are open gates for the Chesed, the mercy, the divine mercy that are basically endless. But specifically at the end of the month of Elul, at the last days, something happens to us that a person, most of us feel a certain tension between that it's limited to the endless. Let's put it this way. In one hand, it's the end of the year, and that's the boundaries of time. That's the end of time. It's the end of the year. And that's the time that you're coming to take an account of all your thoughts and so on and so forth. And then on the other hand, is a tremendous closeness to Rosh Hashanah, where we actually crown HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and together with that, the Malchut, the kingship of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, is renewing the whole entire creation. Don't think, if you understand a little bit of Kabbalah, don't think that time is giving to you and that's it, and so on and so forth. We, as individuals, and as a nation, and as humanity, need to earn this time every year again. We need to allow the Malchut, and through all the Shefa, the abundance that comes from all the Sferot to come down to the Malchut, to actually exist. And how do we do so? When we crown HaKadosh Baruch Hu as a king on us, the Shefa, the abundance comes down. And that's something that doesn't come just haphazardly. It depends on what we're going to do about it. Now, the Rambam writes that even though the Tshuva and Tza'aka, Yafa La'olam, crying to Hashem and repenting and coming back to God it's good. However, in the 10 days between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, it's even better. It's more refined, and it's the unique part about it that it gets accepted immediately. Immediately. It's a big hint for us of what we should aim towards. For first of all, for the safety of Am Yisrael, and for overall humanity, that humanity, we don't want anybody to suffer. We want humanity to be good. So this is the time to actually put it. Now, at the end of Elul, so therefore the end of the Elul, it's like the doorstep for those days. The time that we are coming now, after the half of the month of Elul, towards the end, because now it's the end. You're telling me it's right in the middle. No, it's not. We're coming to the end. We already passed that. So that's the threshold of the door that we're coming into that passage of these days. And the analogy here is very clear. When a person finds out, discovers that time itself is not just a chronological movement of a minute after a minute and a day and hours and so on and so forth, but actually the time itself is actually a spiritual dimension, that within it there are very powerful moments, and those moments are gates of goodwill that really allows a person to awaken. So when you understand that, you're getting a totally different perspective about what actually is happening during this time and what is the work that we need to do between now and after Yom Kippur. I mean, if you only understood that, I think you would drop everything you do and just concentrate on that. So therefore, the end of Elul is some kind of like a introductions or direct introduction to those awesome days of between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. And here our ability is being measured in how much are we able to contemplate, how deep we can actually look and how clear we can look at things. We need to stop, first of all, and recognize the limitation that we have. We need to recognize the end, that we have an end. As Chazal tells us, right? Sof ma'aseh b'machshavat tchila. When you're thinking about the end, right? It's not just making a plan. You need to think about the end all the time and need to direct yourself to it, right? That and when the true wisdom comes only from the point that you understand that there is an end to it, that whatever you do has an end. I mean, if you think that going to argument's sake, high school, right, and I'm sure you remember right before you enter 9th grade, you thought 4 years, forever, and you didn't take advantage of these beautiful years during your high school. I mean, who knows what you were doing? And please don't let me know. I mean, I'll get upset, right? But you didn't take advantage, and it came to an end. And the same thing. The same pattern goes when you go to college and so on and so forth with life. And life itself. If you understand that everything would come to an end and everything has an end, you would utilize the time and the efforts and the abilities that you have appropriately now, because there is an end to it. Remember this. There is an end to it. And don't tell me, it's long and this. Like, for example, somebody that I know, he writes a thesis for a doctor. A guy cries morning and night. Oh, it's so hard for me. It's so bad for me. I said to him, you fool. Enjoy the time. Enjoy the time that you could sit now at home and write your thesis, because you're going to go to work. You think it's heaven, but you are in hell. You don't know what it is to go to work. You guys don't know. Only when you went to work and you're really like in the mud, you said, oh my goodness, let me go back to college. Let me go back to high school. Let me go back, please. What are you talking about? But because we don't think about the end, so therefore we don't utilize the time and our abilities appropriately. Don't waste your time. When we feel the end of the year, we should be awakened to really come back to ourselves truly, to who really we are. And for that, we really need to get in touch with that true self of who we are and what we want. And the thing is like this, you need to think about, what do I want to be? Let's say, for example, listen, what was it? Saturday, I had a birthday, right? 63 years old. What do you mean 63 years old? I still remember I was 13. What are you talking about? And halal about 23. What are you talking about? But the time came. The time came. And when you realize this, that you all of a sudden 63 years old, he said, listen, did I really get into to know who I am, what I want, who am I? Who am I? And so don't waste another day without asking yourself a question. Where do I want to be when I'm going to be 63 years old? How do I want my life to look when I'm 60 years old? what I would like to achieve, what kind of a person would I like to be. And because this day will come, you need to align yourself now and says, okay, in order for you not to get lost. And now you're going to get the necessary steps to get there. So, in the Kabbalah, of course, we all know that the letters of Elul is what? Everybody knows, like a choir, like the Red Army choir. Ani ledodi vedodili. Okay. What does it mean? I'm to my beloved one to me. What does it mean? Well, first of all, it means a lot. So let's look at this. Let's look at this way. There is a certain relationship here of mutual responsibility here. When you say ani ledodi vedodili, by the way, this is not only between you and Hashem. That's also with any other relationship that you're going to be involved. Mainly your spouses, but your children, your friends, your students, anybody has to come from this ani ledodi vedodili. And what do I mean? As long as we are in Elul, right, especially when we are in Elul, the responsibility starts with us, with me. Ani ledodi. First of all, I need to do something for my beloved one. Ani ledodi. And only then dodi li. Only then he is for me. I need to initiate that. And the fact of caring. You need to feel responsible for whoever is there. Not like, what have you done for me lately? What could I do? What could I do for you? How could I contribute? Not like, okay, is this serve my needs or not? What do you mean your needs? What do you think? You came here to fulfill your needs? How about you contributing? How about you taking part? Today was a horrible situation in Israel. 6 people got killed and so on and so on. The guy who went in to initiate, and he went after them,
20-year-old,
was a guy that it's a Haredi guy that just went to the Hashmonaim brigade, the new brigade that opened up, and he engaged in contact, he pursued contact, and he actually eliminated those murderers. So here you go, yes. So this guy left the Torah, right? Yeshiva, and he went to the army, and he saved people, because you don't know what a bad, God forbid, could have happened if he would not have killed them. So don't look at just what you could do for me. Your first question is to be, what could I do for you? How could I help? And this is the attitude that we have here in Elul. The end of Elul, examine this question. Did you really get closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu the whole entire year? What have you done? Were you like, I'm here and he's here? Or I'm here, he's here, and I'm going to make sure we're going to be here together? How close did you pursue this closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu throughout the whole entire year? Comes Elul and examines that, but how much you're willing to do actually for that? And if you're going to, did you take those letters, right? And you kind of mix them all up. Did you actually take everything and you turn it, the darkness and everything, did you turn it into a real light? Did you make anything different in your life? The end of the Elul is really an introduction for this time, to the 10 days. And this is, by the way, and I told you this before, this is like a general rehearsal towards the every year is how our life is going to be. The way we come to Rosh Hashanah, this is how we're going to come to the Din after 120 years when we depart from this world, we're going to stand in front of Hashem. This is Rosh Hashanah. Are you coming ready to Olam Haba? You don't know when you're going to get a call. You don't know when you're going to get a call. Look, this girl that we've been praying for a long, long time, right? She's one of my best friends in Israel, daughter. She's 32 years old. She's dying. She has cancer. She's dying. You don't know when you're going to get the call. By the way, look at all 3 of you over there. You're almost wearing the same color. You look like soldiers. Man, I love it. I love it. Yeah, you look like a cook, but yeah. but we don't know it. So here comes Elul, And when a person really feels the end, we feel the limit of time. The time is coming to an end, and time will come to an end. As we said before, that if you're really smart, you understand that there is an end. Here too, that knowing that the year is coming to the end, the year is ending, is a call for us to really look inside, for contemplate inside, to a true cheshbon nefesh, to take a true inventory of what we have done, good, bad, where can we improve, where we did not improve, where things went back for us, and so on and so forth. You really need to take account. It's like you're running a business, and that business is called your life. If you would run a business the way you run your life, you're going to go bankrupt within a month. You need to take an inventory every single day. How much did you spend today? How much money came in? How many goods did you buy? And so on and so forth. If you don't do so every single day, you're going to go out of business. Every day needs to be done. There is a printout. Baruch Hashem, there are computers today. You press the thing, you sold today, I don't know, $10,000 worth of goods. You order $8,000. Well, listen, it wasn't such a great day because I only made $2,000. So you need to know, like, where you're spending, and so this is what you need to do with your life. You're the boss of your life, and I'm going to tell you, people have a problem with that. That's why a lot of people like to blame everybody else. They blame everybody else, the economy, the shmeconomy, the this, that, the other thing. Just like they do in business, just like the same thing as they do in their lives. You are the boss. Nobody's asking you. You need to run your life. Life, don't think that this is like a communist regime, that the big brother is running your business. No, you run your life. And you need to take an account of what you have done this year. Did you progress or you didn't? Because, Rabotai, why is that? Because things come to an end. Things come to an end. And here is this it's a deep idea that Elul is that point of transfer, point of connection between the past and the future. And we always talk about it, Chachamim talk about it, philosophers talk about it, that a human always lives between what was already to what will never be. Right? In other words, always live between the past and the future. Always between the past and the future. In Kabbalah, it seems to us as the secret of the transferring of the transferring point between of Sfirat Malchut, right? And where the whole entire year welled through it. That's exactly it. To the Sfera of Keter, which is the crown, the highest, right? And Malchut is the end, refers to the end of the year, and Keter refers to the beginning of the new will that comes with the new year. There's a new will. Okay, this year I will do this, and this year I would like to do that. Why is that? Because of that. Because everything comes from the Keter up. So that's the rejuvenation of creation. That's why every beginning of a new year, you want to do new things. That's that because of that. Rabotai, Kabbalah is not, or Torah is not some kind of a philosophical idea and so on and so forth. That is the manuscript of life. You want to look at life, you have it here. That's how things work. Even if you don't want it to work like this, even if you don't like it that it works like this, nobody is asking you. That's how it works. So you better get along with the program, and you need to understand that and take advantage of it, because it was made for you to succeed. It was meant for you to succeed. According to Kabbalah, this is the time that Malchut, in other words, everything that was done in this world, comes back to its root. In other words, it elevates itself to all the way up to Keter. All our tefillot, all the davening that we had, all the actions that we had, all the ups and all the downs, everything is being gathered, is being assorted, and then it's being sent up. The end of the year is almost like a spiritual harvest, right? When we're harvesting, right? Whatever you planted throughout the year, that's what you're going to harvest. Rabotai, that's why you need to invest in yourself. Stop with your telephones, for crying out loud. Put the stuff away. Concentrate in something productive in your life. Where's David, by the way? We're talking about telephones. Hey, David, you hear me? Yeah. Come next to me, Tatale. Come, Motek. I want to see you. Right? So that's something that we need to understand. This is what you need to, you might have another chance this year. So start getting the seeds ready so you have something to plant. But the Kabbalah comes another layer, a deep layer here, and it says that the end of the year is not only the end, the sof, it's also the aliyah, the elevation. All our actions, as we says, the moments of success, the moments of failure, when we were victorious or we were losers, everything is coming, it's gathering together, and it's taking an elevator up. Everything is doing that. And together with that, you should take advantage of that and jump into this elevator to elevate yourself as well, so you have a good starting point. So you will have a good starting point. Everything will come to the Sfirah of Keter, back to its root. And this is the time of that you could do a tremendous assortment and harvesting of, especially when it comes to your spiritual attributes and spiritual qualities, to the ruchniyut, to that spiritual aspect inside you that we so easily and conveniently neglect all the time. Whatever we planted through the years, now it's being gathered, and when it's being gathered and it's being brought up, all your actions are now being presented for Kadosh Baruch Hu, in front of Him, in front of Kisei HaKavod. Just like the day we will die, just like that day, all our actions, the only difference is here is for the whole entire year, at the time is for a whole entire life. Have this in mind. That's why Rosh Hashanah in Bet HaKnesset Rabotai is not time for concerts. You want to do concerts? Tell your rabbi, listen, we want some chazanut, we want some concert. Get a chazan on a Tuesday. Let him sing songs. Maybe make some bonfire, make shashlik, and sing all night long. Rosh Hashanah is not time for that. Rosh Hashanah is not time for business, for bidding, and so on and so forth. That's a mistake. And unfortunately, we don't have it in many shuls. It becomes a masquerade. We don't like it. It shouldn't be like this. And if not, gather yourself. Elevate. If you're somewhere stuck in the shul, that's what's going on, disconnect yourself and then dwell into that tefillah. Dwell into that tefillah. I told you, I remember one time I had a friend, he didn't know right from wrong, left from right. He was in Israel, he came to America, he saw a shul, he went to a shul. Yom Kippur, sorry. He went to a shul. He said it was very weird. Everybody was driving. I said, what? Tzaddikim? Maybe they come after, I don't know. Whatever. How did they walk home? But he goes over there. He didn't know it was actually very reformed place. The guy was secular as secular could get. Like deep Tel Aviv secular kind of a guy, Well, he goes over there, he says, this is weird, man. This is like so weird. First of all, they're taking the Sefer Torah from the side. There's a woman with a talit, a choir, music. He says, I was getting dizzy. I said, I didn't know. I took the Siddur in front of me. One page was English, one page was Hebrew. He said, I read the whole entire thing. He said to me, I think I even read Shacharit. I read everything. What they were singing, I read everything. I felt such an elevation. He said, from that point on, I became Chozer B'Tshuva. So if you're in a place like this, disconnect yourself. Find this place inside of you, disconnect. And this is the great tension that we have. In one side we have the din, which is cheshbon nefesh, the account that we have to do, which is the din emet, a truthful judgment for all our actions. And the other ones we have rachamim. So this spiritual yin yang can get us dizzy. We get confused. And rachamim is a new chance, really, to be able to crown HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and that comes on Rosh Hashanah, and that's what the Ari says, as we said before, that Chodesh Elul, those Yud Gimel Midot are shining, and they accompany us until the last moment, and that feeling, that sensation, puts us in the hallway. In one hand, we have Din, which is the end, the final, the build that we have at the end. And the other one is the Rachamim, which is we could actually crown HaKadosh Baruch Hu as the king for ourselves. So the din itself is the assortment. What is interesting, the din itself is being served as a vessel for the Rachamim to be held on. Because the Rachamim needs to come in. Rachamim is like water that's coming out. Where are you going to hold it? So the vessel that comes to that is the din, and that's exactly what happens. Why? Because only through the recognition, and what limits you is the din. They have a limit, right? So when you recognize the din, when you recognize that there is an end, when you recognize all your chesronot, all the things all your weaknesses and so on and so forth, only then the door for renewal will open up. Only then the door for renewal will open up. When you recognize, say, listen, there is an end, I was wrong. Chatati, aviti, pashati. I didn't do right. Only then the opportunity will come. The Zohar says in Parashat Terumah, Lech atar panui mineh. In other words, there is no place that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not in. But most of the time, we live like there's empty space. We live like we are in outer space. Nothing around us, no God, no one. It's the Wild West. Chodesh Elul, and especially the end of Elul, reminds us that whatever you seem that is empty, that is vacant, that is nothing there, is an illusion. We are inside HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Everything that you think that there's nobody there, melo kol haaretz kevodo. The world is filled with God. Or God is actually filling the world. Now, we live, right? When there's no God, we feel a separation. There's a peirud, right? Because I don't see God in my action, I don't involve God with my life. I don't want Him in my life, right? Comes Chodesh Elul, and especially the end, reminds us that again, that it's all an illusion, and the end sof, the endless, is also could be found in the last split of a second of the year. When you reach out to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, a second before the end of the year, before RV, the second endless opportunities open to you. So even within that split of a second, there is endless opportunity for us to actually come back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And even in the smallest cheshbon that you will do with yourself, you also open up endless opportunities. You're going to go down to the nitty-gritty of your life. You're going to find also endless over there. From a I wouldn't say philosophical, from this kind of point of view, Elul is a revelation of the limitation of time. We have a whole entire year that's about to finish, and the fact that it comes to an end really shakes us. It really shakes us. My wife was telling me that her aunt is not doing well. She's dying, and she spoke to her cousin, and she said, I really thought that my mother is going to live so much longer because her mother lived a very long life. Her mother lived for like 93 years old, and this woman, my wife's aunt is 87. So I thought she's going to leave. That fact that now the life is going to be over really shakes you. Every time we come to something, that's why Chas v'Shalom, when somebody passes away, shocks us. When we finish something, when we finish school, we have a certain anxiety. We develop a certain level of anxiety. It doesn't make a difference if you're finishing high school, elementary school, college, doctorate, you're finishing the military. I remember this. When I finished, I was wearing uniform for 7 years. Going out to civilian life was like, oh my goodness, what am I doing here? Like, what is that transition time is shocking. So we sometimes are afraid of this, and we try to extend it further and further. But everything has an end, and so is the year as well. If we're talking about philosophy, Socrates and his students always spoke about that every wisdom, right? As it starts, as we said, with an awareness towards the end. Here too, our awareness to the end of the year shows us that there is an end to us as well. But the Kabbalah says to us that right now, through this end, Keter is coming out. In other words, the divine will to create new life, a new creation. And we could turn ourselves into a new creation. The end is not a destruction. The end is not a destruction. On the contrary, the end is a doorway for renewal. The end is a doorway for new things to happen. So when something ends, something else enters. And usually they're overlapping each other. The same thing as the day. There's no such thing as, okay, it's night, turn the switch on, day. Even sunrise, even sunset is a process. They overlap. It's called Ben Ha'arbaim, Ben Hashmashot. During this time, that it's not, yes, it's a very mystical time. It's very good. You know, you sit down in the sunset, it's magical. Whether you're sitting on the beach or you're sitting in the desert, it's why it's so magical. It's because this overlapping zone. We always like those in-between stages. This is the twilight. This is the sunset of the year right now. And because it's so magical, we can achieve so much in it. The Din, as we said in the Rachamim, meet here together. And together they create this beautiful flow of life, which is absolutely gorgeous. And the Aris called this time Zman Aliyat HaMalchut LeShorsha. As we said before, the Malchut goes up to its root. All the actions and everything we said, as we said beforehand. In other words, the end of Elul is the awareness of transition, of ability to transmit from one place to another. And we all going, if you buy a gorgeous, we're talking about buying houses, you buy a gorgeous house, you think you're going to stay there forever, I guarantee to you, you won't. It might be 3 years, might be 30 years, might be 40 years, but you will move from there. Whether you're going to move to another house above the ground or you're going to move to another house under the ground. But that's not going to be your last house. You're going to keep on moving. Yeah. That's what it is, Rabotai. That's life. A person, with, as we said, also us, between the past where we have the chataim, the success and the failures, and to the future, which a new reality. Rabotai, I want to emphasize to you again, Rabotai, in the future you could rewrite your reality. You could write your life all over again. And our ability to stand in that passageway, in that doorway, without escaping, without running away, this is the tshuva. This is the process of tshuva. Because tshuva is not, when we're talking about repentance and the process of teshuva, tshuva is not just fixing the past, like many people think. It's not just fixing the past, but rather it's the ability to be present in the now, in the doorway, to see time itself as a revelation of endless, of Ein Sof. That is the process of tshuva. To understand that there's God there, and you in the doorway, and you dealt with the past, but you're in the here and now, looking for the future. When you make tshuva, you need to have this in mind. It's not like I say, I made tshuva, that's it, I'm done. That's it, I got my diploma, I'm finished. It doesn't work like this. That's what I'm talking about. Now, the Rambam in Halachot Tshuva wrote that tshuva mekarevet rechokim, bring close those who are far. And in Kabbalah it explains that the furthest one is not just the person who is sins and so on, but also in time there is a concept of a further one. What does it mean? Time itself, those lost moments of your life. You need to give account for the lost moments of your life, because those lost moments of your life, like you don't know what happened. Oh my goodness, this week passed. Like I don't know what happened. What did you do yesterday? Well, I don't know what I did. What do you mean you don't know what you did? You don't know what you did. If you had a schedule, in the morning I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, I go to Minyan, I go to Yeshiva, I learn, I work, every hour you know what you do, you can give me an account of what you did. But if you don't have it, you're going to waste your time. The same thing, Rabotai, that you do with your money, you do with your time. And if you waste your time, don't think that you're going to have money, because you're going to waste it just like you waste your time. You know why? Because somebody once says, time is money. Look at how you deal with your time, how you waste it. This is how you're going to waste your money. It doesn't make a difference how much money you're going to have. Your money is also limited, just like your time is. So the tshuva at the end of Elul is the ability that we have to bring the lost time back to its place. But that's a crazy idea, but it's the ability to turn every single moment that we thought it was lost, to bring it to a point of closeness to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Every lost moment, you can do it if you do the process of tshuva, if you are willing to look at your past and to be in the here and the now, looking in the future in a positive way. This is how you bring back your time. But I'm going to tell you something, stop wasting your time. This passage between past and future, between end and beginning, is, as I said to you, the point. If you need to point, that's the point of teshuvah. Right there, when the end is, you want to know where is the point of teshuvah? Just as the new year ends, the last year ends and the new year starts, that's the point of teshuvah. At that moment, boom, that's when you should make teshuvah. The best time to make teshuvah. Actually, every time is, but this is a superior time. For yourself as well. Whatever happened, happened. Let's look what we are now and let's create a better future. That should be the attitude. The tshuva is, as I said to you, is the ability for you to be present, to see time itself, to look at time, and to see eternity in time itself. To see eternity in time. As Chazal tells us, Gdola tshuva shemevia refuah la'olam. Tshuva brings cure to this world. Not medicine. It brings cure to this world. Why? Because not only it brings man back to his state that he should have been, kind of rejuvenates the person, but also brings back the lost time together with you. So when you make tshuva, all the time that you lost, and you're going to give an account, because the time is not yours. Time HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave you. It's like somebody gave you money. Let's say somebody gave you $1 million. Say, listen, keep this $1 million. But if you spend it, you can spend it. But I want to give an account for every penny where you went. If not, zapped. When you make tshuva, you're able to bring not only yourself back, but also the time that you lost back together with you. And that is an unbelievable concept. If you want to know how we bring Mashiach back and why Mashiach is dependent on Teshuvah, is because of that. It's mainly because of the lost time that we have. Because we thought that we have all the time in the world to do everything, and we actually, not only that we didn't do what we should have done, we haven't done anything, and we wasted the time and the resources. So if at the end of the Elul is the time that we see that the past and the future meet or join, so on one hand ourselves, we close the businesses of the last year, which is the din, and we are now going to crown HaKadosh Baruch Hu with Rachamim on us. And that connection between them shows us that human existence is not just life within time. Again, human existence is not just life within time, but rather an ability to touch eternity through the process of teshuvah, as I just explained to you. Now, maybe you need to watch it again, maybe you need to see it again, but I would suggest to you too, because this is what I just told you now, could really change, I wouldn't say your life, I'm not taking so much to myself, but it would really change a lot of the things that you do and how you do things. And this is a secret. The din itself becomes a kli, a vessel for the rachamim, only when we recognize our weaknesses, our wrongdoings, our limitations, and then the door, the open for renewal comes, and then we could renew. And this is the root of the teshuvah, which we said is not only fixing the past, but standing in that moment, connecting the past and the future, and to receive that and to reveal the time itself is eternity. And we need to be able to hold in the end of the Elul both ends together. We are the ones who connect them together. And that's why we mention the names of our forefathers in Elul, when we make Askara and Bet HaKnesset and so on and so forth, because they are the future, they are the past. And that's why we need to bring our children to shul, to create the future. And we are the ones who hold the hands, and we are the connective link. We are the missing link between those two, because if it's not us, and that's the responsibility in which I was talking to you about. Ani ledodi v'dodili, it is my responsibility to do things. I don't wait for somebody else to do it. I need to do it myself. I'm the connection. And through those actions, eternity is being revealed. So the time that we lost as a nation could also be brought back in the same manner. We should join forces together to do things together for one another, to care for the future of our children in terms of yeshivot and schools and so on and so forth, to care for cemeteries that people left behind in countries, to take care of the elderly among us, the old people and so on and so forth. So how do we hold this? How do we do it? So in the end of the Elul, there's two things that we need to do. It's first of all hoda'ah. We need to have a gratitude. We need to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu for everything He gave us throughout this year. Everything. Because if it wasn't, even if it wasn't in our eyes perfect, whatever HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave you, you should say thank you. Make a list of all the things. I'm going to tell you, if you're going to start a list for all the things that God gave you during this year, you would not finish it 10 years from now. In 1 year, you're not going to finish 10 years writing down everything God gave you. I'm telling you that. It's endless. Endless. You have no idea. One thing involves the other. If you're going to talk about the way your body works, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu makes everything work for you, and the food, and this, and the stock market, and God knows, it's endless. But start appreciating what HaKadosh Baruch Hu give you. So have a gratitude and have an appreciation. The problem is we don't appreciate. We don't appreciate what other people do to us, and we don't appreciate what HaKadosh Baruch Hu does for us. That's why we become selfish. The other one is called tzipiyah, longing. We need to look, we need to hope. We need to open our hearts for renewal, for a new malchut chadashah, new kingship, to a new will that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we should generate a certain will in HaKadosh Baruch Hu that it will be good for us to ask for Him to give us. We will feel good when He gets it like this. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu will come and shine His light on us on Rosh Hashanah. And that's why at the end of the Elul, we need to make this connection. This is how we do it. We thank and we longing for something new. And that's the connection between the Din and the Rachamim as well. Rabotai, the last days of the year, between now and Rosh Hashanah, let's not just ask for mechila. Let's not just ask for forgiveness. Excuse me, we should. But we should also, as a matter of we must. But even more so, maybe we should ask for the ability to turn every end to a new beginning. Because there's no ultimate end. There's no end that is really end. Because every end is a new door, is a new opening for something new, a new opening for another keter, a new opening for another flow to come in. Again, you cannot get depressed. You cannot get depressed. You cannot give up. Giving up, en yeush ba'olam, Rav Nachman said. En yeush ba'olam. You can't be. If you said, you know what, I give up. That's it. I give up. I can't take it anymore. That means you don't believe in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You don't believe that HaKadosh Baruch Hu opens you the door before He closes one. When the one door closes, not another one opens. 10 other ones open. You choose whichever way you want to go, man. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not going to leave you stranded like this. You need to understand it. So, but we need to pray for HaKadosh Baruch Hu to help us see of the new opportunities that are coming in. We need to, He opens it. We don't see it. So let's pray for that as well. For a new creation, for a new world, for a better world. And even more so, for K'tiva v'chatima tova lechol Bet Israel. And I really wish that the hostages will come home and Am Israel should not know any more sorrow or pain. And we should crown HaKadosh Baruch Hu appropriately. And we should all live in Eretz Israel, in Nizke Lirot, Shechinat Uzo, Amen, Keni Ratzon Od Hashana.